travel by California out here in Calabasas at Peddler's Fork for the inaugural Gravel Bulldogs. Now, the Santa Monica Mountains are a playground for gravel, and today's route has about 7,000 feet of climbing over 53 miles, some of them the toughest you'll find out here. Now, there's also 2 time segments on the toughest climbs. This year, I'll let someone else win. Oh yeah, it's the first year. Still, it's a pretty tough course, but I think what's gonna get us all through this are the great offerings they have here at the end. So, let's roll. The folks at Peddler's Fork, which is well known as a restaurant and a mecca for the cycling community, was pretty geared up to host Gravel Bulldogs with some heavyweights ready for this beatdown.
This is my first event, gravel event, so I'm looking forward to it. I brought reinforcements. I brought the pros to follow the pros since they know what this life is all about. So.
I think it's going to be a really hard course. It's only like 53 miles, but it's 8,000 feet of climbing. So it's one of those things where it seems easier than it is. And it's supposed to heat up today, so it's going to be hard, but I'm excited.
Puerco Canyon, that climb is no joke.
The ride really doesn't start until once you get to Puerco. That's where it starts, because you got that long climb until you get to Bulldog. The descent down Bulldog will be legendary.
You just gotta take it easy. Yeah, you gotta take it easy. It's pretty steep and loose.
Yeah, I usually ride for the scones, and so it's kind of challenging that I came before the ride, because now I technically don't have to ride. No, but seriously, I'm excited for all the food and the celebration after. That'll be a lot of fun, just hanging out with friends.
I'm excited about it. It's a great turnout, as you can see, so should be fun.
Starting out of Peddler's Fork, the route is defined by 5 main parts, starting with the first third, feeling like rollers, riding through Topanga State Park. You then quickly hammer your fastest 10 miles, utilizing the flat PCH. Turning off as you check your lung capacity, climbing your first time segment of Puerco Canyon. At the top, you're happy to get the downhill return on investment while checking in on your descending skills on Bulldog. After making your way across Mulholland, Calabasas Peak completes the second half of the KOM challenge, if you have anything left. Overall, you're looking at 53 miles and 7,300 feet of climbing, really bunched up in there. Rolling out of Peddler's Fork was at your discretion, with the time segments later on, allowing to ease into the start with some fine-looking folks.
It's a nice little warm-up, but it's about horses. We're gonna hit dirt soon.
Even though it's still residential, Mulholland Drive is now dirt, which is a bit bumpy for me to be a homeowner. It's about 3 miles of mainly climbing, with the grade never going deep into the single digits, but you gain some perspective riding the ridge.
Gorgeous day in the San Fernando Valley. Now let's see what the other side of the hill has.
As you turn your attention south, you make your way onto Temescal Ridge, taking you towards the heart of Topanga State Park, seesawing for a couple of miles until you hit your first punchy climb of the day for just a third of a mile.
Fun has begun. Fun has begun.
At the hub, the route takes the upper side of the Eagle Rock Loop, which is a unique blend of surface, views, and of course, fun! As the 2 trails merge, it's some roller coaster action with the temptation to open it up on this downhill, but staying aware of hikers is the right move here. The next 3.5 miles tested our technical skills, both up and down. But it's nice to take advantage of these cooler morning temperatures to not struggle as much on these climbs for some Pacific payoff. Peaking at Paseo Miramar gives you some of the best views of the day, as it looks palatable to float across the bay to Palos Verdes. But at these speeds, the opportunity is short-lived as you make your way into the windy pavement leading you to Sunset Boulevard. You'll quickly find your way onto PCH, which is popular for cyclists, drivers, and art collections from oil magnates. While this is clearly a road where you could pound out the mileage, never turn down the opportunity to take advantage of some 25 mile per hour plus pulls. You may not get your fill of sightseeing at these speeds, but you do get a little wake-up call approaching Pepperdine, rolling 6% for a half mile, soon passing the campus that moved from South LA to Malibu in 1972. We bid our adieus from the party to the pain train as we turned off onto Puerco Canyon, properly braking at our first pit stop, as some of us were still smiling.
I'm just out here to see some old friends and take my son on a ride.
I probably lost like 2 rows.
He's on my old tall boy. Yeah, we're gonna make it up Puerco and then we may go backbone to Canaan. Because once you're up there, why waste a good downhill on Bulldog? You can do backbone.
Are you happy when your dad put you on the pain train? I think that says it all.
He doesn't really know.
Passing the start of the KOM is a jolting reminder that we've covered Puerco Canyon, and it's no joke. While averaging nearly 7% over 6 3/4 miles sounds doable, you'll be exerting a good amount of pain in the double digits. The first mile is the steadiest, as the switchbacks helped you linger by the mean as you craft your way above the ocean. But making the turn by the house with no home is where the gut check begins at 11%. After battling nearly a mile of that strain, the reprieve is hardly noticeable, leading you to the annoying, slightly steeper, and slightly longer climb, where it's okay to catch your breath. Temps were unusually high for November, and while this route was putting you to it, at least you were offered an out at the proper time.
All right, mile 31, 3,900 feet of climbing so far. It's a strong case to be made for the puppy dog. I'll just let the group decide. No brain cells.
We kept our promise to venture on, and while the second half is tamer by the numbers, whatever opportunity there is to rest will offer a bunch of rude awakenings. One of my favorite parts of Puerco is how it offers some of the best perspectives of this unique geological landscape, especially around the Jim Morrison Cave. We circumnavigated the rockier Backbone Trail, but once reunited, the last kilometer climb isn't as easy as Ryan makes it look, as 9% feels like double at this point. The peak is ceremoniously dotted with a rock garden, and even better yet, refills and gels at the top, accompanied by a lot of smiles. But before continuing on to Bulldog, I had to question if that would have been the tougher climb.
What do you think is harder, going up Puerco or going up Bulldog?
Ooh, I was trying to just get out of the heat as fast as possible, but I think going up Puerco is harder. It's a lot longer. Bulldog is steeper and shorter. It's like half the distance, but the same amount of vert. So it's short and sweet, and Puerco just never ends. You get those rollers halfway up, and it bakes. Yeah.
I'd much rather be headed down Bulldog, even as it's technical in parts. But it's one of the most scenic descents in the Santa Monica Mountains, if you can look up long enough. As the road straightens out, you start to head towards the creek part of Malibu Creek State Park, where you'll no doubt have sightseers mashing it up. You exit out of the filming location through some fun single track, swaying back and forth enough that you really get deep into it. But you soon exit to wider pastures, showcasing why this park is a year-round attraction. There's a short haul on your way out, but soon you find yourself on Mulholland Highway to knock off the next 5 miles pavement style. While it's a slight incline to the next segment, it's nice to get your legs into a rhythm again, if it helps to get your mind off the next climb.
Now, I normally pride myself on doing a lot of research for these videos, but I don't want to know the numbers before I do this climb. It's been years, it's been painful. You're gonna have to rely on a cleverly placed voiceover for that.
Calabasas Peak is only 1.5 miles and only averages 11%. And I'm only understating this because the last half mile goes for 15%. Luckily, there was one more pit stop at the bottom of Stunt, where I took 2 split nutritions, or 4, depending on how you do the math. It's on, passing the KOM sign, but the lower portion is the palatable half, enough that you can carry on a conversation. And it's okay if you talk yourself into taking the out down Red Rock Canyon, but most are ready to ride through the earthen gates to test their fate. There's a nice, impossible-ish hurdle to tackle early on, but everyone will be pushing their slowest in their lowest gear to make it up. You can pass the time thinking about the beauty seismic activity has brought, or whose idea it was to build a road here in the first place. But everyone shares the experience of how much Calabasas Peak tests your limits. Reaching the apex is a big exhale, as you get to enjoy your fruits of all this elevation gain, sweeping your way towards the valley, as this descent helps you end on a high note. The route wiggles its way down to Old Topanga, which is a fun descent on its own, as the last couple of miles takes you through Calabasas, ending with a little off-road action that lets you out to where else but Peddler's Fork. The post-ride festivities hit all the notes with savory options you want seconds of, great atmosphere,
I had a blast. It was super fun.
and of course,
Do you really have Pliny on tap?
I do really have Pliny on tap.
Can I really have a Pliny,
You
please?
can really have a Pliny.
Awesome.
touchdown. So, I can't hire a makeup artist. I imagine my face is salty, but not my attitude. This ride, it was definitely tough, but you know what? Everybody came back with smiles. It just is such a great community that wanted to celebrate these hills. And also, food, your selection, I think everyone is super excited.
I think we can't wait for next year, and I'll be back. So you can help support us by either subscribing to Gravel by California, going to our shop, or even support us on Patreon so we can bring you more. With the State of Dirt.